Coming to the final presentation before the rest of the agenda, we have Ansh here. I won't introduce Ansh because I think almost everyone knows him and he has been such a pinnacle in the design industry. I'll hand it over to Ansh who will be talking about how UX can be in the year ahead in the future. So over to you, Ansh.
Alright folks, I wouldn't waste too much time because we only have 40 minutes with us. Quick accessibility checks. Is there anyone here who does not understand Hindi? Can you raise your hands? Sabko Hindi aati hai? Do people at the back can see the text and can you hear me properly? Can you show me thumbs up? Awesome. Can you raise your hand if you're a product manager? Can I see all the product managers? 5 people. Okay. Okay, some at the back. Alright. Product designers, professional product designers, almost all of you. Awesome. Front-end web developers. Okay, so we have rank 2 पे front-end developers and then least number of PMs. Interesting. So that will help me sort of fine-tune the session. If you want a quick answer, no, we are not going to be replaced. If that is the conclusion that you're looking for. But there's a certain nuance that we will not be replaced only if we learn how to evolve on time. The question is, how exactly do we evolve? And to answer that question, we need to take a step back. And when text to UI tools just entered the scene, तो इनका बहुत मजाक उड़ा था. And this is the time when Jordan, he has just joined Figma now. That time he was the founder of Diagram, एक AI company थी जिसको recently अभी Figma ने खरीदा है. So he had uploaded a Figma plugin का Twitter पे एक thread जहाँ पे that thing was creating some basic wireframes. और सबने बहुत मजाक उड़ाया that what rubbish. Like, do you really think this is practical? And at first, AI tools acted like a designer with like 30 days of experience, right? And shout out to Chetan from Design Pirate on YouTube for this analogy because when he highlighted it, I realized that, oh, this makes so much sense. So, beginning May, it was acting like somebody who could just come up with some basic wireframes. फिर थोड़ा सा टाइम बीता 6 महीने हुए, then it started acting like a designer with at least 1 year of experience. Basic color palettes, basic typography बनाना शुरू कर दिया. And then this month, with Figma AI on its full roll, it's acting like a designer with almost 2 to 3 years of experience. Because I've seen the demos that are in the beta mode. And I've also tried this new tool called Creative, which is able to create like really good designs. Mostly around UI, not around UX. But a designer with 2 to 3 years of experience, uske at par wo aa gaya. How many of you have tried Resume AI? Ye kisi ne naam suna hai. So we just made a video on it and होता क्या है that you can either paste a URL of your existing website or from the description of your website and within seconds it would create a sitemap. And then for each and every individual branch of the sitemap it would create content like anything. यहाँ पे इनको HTML extend नहीं हो रहा था, otherwise I would have demoed for it for everybody. But I'm telling you, the clarity with which it can understand information architecture is shocking. And that is the first step in the field of UX. Before you design anything, the most important aspect is to understand कि कौन से features होंगे, उनका branching कैसा होगा. And the crazy part about Resume is that the way it integrates with Figma is insane. क्योंकि maximum लोग यही बोलते हैं कि हम तो Figma में काम करते हैं और ये Resume जैसा कोई random AI tool है. तो how does this work? Right? How do you connect these two tools? Once you go back home, if you watch our video, you will realize that the way they have created a design system actually solves the problem. जो काफी नई कंपनीज में आती है कि हमारे पास डिजाइन सिस्टम है ही नहीं. तो एक बहुत बड़ा आर्गुमेंट होता है एआई के अगेंस्ट कि एआई डिजाइन सिस्टम कैसे बनाएगा. बट व्हाट इफ मेजॉरिटी कंपनीज एक टेम्पलेटाइज्ड डिजाइन सिस्टम के ऊपर ही बिल्ड कर ले, उनको बिगिनिंग से काफी कुछ बनाना ही ना पड़े. सो देयर इज अ हाई चांस दैट बाय December 2025 these tools might start acting like a designer with decades of experience because it's almost like a 10x का graph. The growth is almost exponential. पर अब सवाल ये है कि क्या ये सिर्फ UX डिजाइनर्स को भी इशू आ रहा है या बाकी फील्ड्स में भी चेंजेस आ रहे हैं. So I'm pretty sure you would have seen all of these GIFs on LinkedIn. Where you are putting somebody's static picture and they're adding movement to it. There are tools like Kling, Runway ML, Luma Labs. ये सारे tools वीडियो कंटेंट क्रिएशन को भी बहुत aggressively change कर रहे हैं. In fact, on TikTok there's a stage called Unlock Learning जहाँ पे Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift आपको integration सिखा रहे हैं in their own voice, in their own expression, and it's incredible, right? You will never know that it's a deep fake. There's this tool called newart.ai जहाँ पे अगर आप एक fashion designer हो, you can just put up a random sketch, it would automatically render high quality images for you, and it is for a bunch of products. So it's not just limited to clothing, but across different industries. Adobe Firefly में एक feature आ गया है where you can make something very random in Illustrator and then export the PNG into Adobe Firefly and use that as an outline. तो अगर आप Illustrator पे अंश लिखते हो या अपना नाम लिखते हो and then Firefly पे जाके कुछ भी texture डालते हो, the texture is applied to your outline. So you create the basic skeleton and then AI does all of the beautification. So there's this guy called Jack Cassis and he does these demos really well. तो left पे जो image है वो Illustrator पे बनती है. So basically आप एक outline बनाते हो, then you export that illustration, you go to Adobe Firefly और पहले आप prompt डालते हो कि मुझे चाहिए soda can उसके around strawberries. But if you upload this image as a reference, it would automatically make sure that जितना भी rendering हो रहा है वो exact इन्हीं outlines में हो, which is extremely helpful for product photography. But once you take this to the next level, you realize that you can wrap this around any shape you want. तो यहाँ Illustrator में he created a text, उसका outline create करा, then Adobe Firefly में जाके पहले candy cane का ऐसा texture बनाया और Firefly ने इस texture को beautifully इस text के around wrap कर दिया. And to create something like this पहले a very experienced 3D designer would also take at least 5 to 6 hours. And now all of these things are happening within minutes. This is a video from OpenAI Sora. तो OpenAI जिन्होंने ChatGPT बनाया है वो अभी नया टूल लॉन्च करने वाले हैं. बाय द वे अभी 12 डेज ऑफ OpenAI चल रहा है. आज रात को 11:30 डे 3 होगा. एवरी डे दे आर लॉन्चिंग न्यू फीचर्स और रूमर्स ये है कि 12वें दिन पे दे आर अबाउट टू लॉन्च Sora, व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी द मोस्ट पावरफुल वीडियो जनरेटिंग टूल एवर. एंड ये जो मैं आपको वीडियो दिखा रहा हूँ ये 6 महीने पहले लिखी थी. तो यू कैन ऑब्वियसली इमेजिन कि 12 दिन बाद क्या आने वाला है. In fact, I saw this very interesting meme. Somebody uploaded this picture and said, "What's the full number on screen?" उसने बोला 8675308. It could actually count कि उसके मुंह में कितने दांत हैं. So the nuance with which ChatGPT is scanning JPEGs and images in general and finding patterns is absolutely incredible. And trust me, it gets even better. क्योंकि हम सब ने ये तो imagine करा है कि human beings AI को hire कर सकता है. But what if AI starts to hire human beings? And this is not a fictional concept because there is a website called Payment, जहाँ पे AI को अगर आप कोई टास्क देते हो और अगर उसके पूरे टास्क साइकिल में कोई ऐसा पार्ट आता है जो वो खुद से नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो वो फाइबर से जाके इंसान को हायर करता है. For example, if you hire an AI agent to make a website, वेबसाइट बनाने के लिए डोमेन चाहिए, डोमेन खरीदने के लिए क्रेडिट कार्ड चाहिए और क्रेडिट कार्ड सर्विस इंसान को मिलता है. तो ये अगर AI एजेंट वेबसाइट बना रहा है और ये एक ऐसे स्टेप पे आ गया जहाँ पे इसको क्रेडिट कार्ड डालना है, it will go hire a human being, just get the credit card transaction done, pay that guy $5 का fees and get back to work. Literally AI is using a human being as a मजदूर. कि तुम जितने भी घटिया काम है तुम वो करो, $5-10 लो, and I will do the meaningful work. Of course, this is still in beta testing, but the thought around it is insane. That you can actually have AI agents hiring people. Now, a lot of people on Twitter these days are discussing how the job descriptions are evolving with time, right? So, in our companies, एक designer होता है, एक product manager होता है और एक dev होता है, and even if you see a tool like Figma, you will realize that Figma itself is now widening its horizon from serving just designers to PMs and developers. So the developer mode is catered towards designers and then Figma slides is now being catered towards PM. A question here that what if they are not selling to 3 different personas? What if they are already predicting the fact that these 3 personas are going to become a single persona? So basically instead of a product designer, maybe we might have someone who's called a product builder who's able to stitch things together and come up with prototypes. And that designer itself is so good at communicating that उसी को Google Slides की जगह Figma Slides काम आ रहा है. That same person is planning how the features will work, make a quick prototype, and then make a good Figma slide out of it. Which means that moving forward, just being good at design is not going to be enough because the benchmark for your work is going to go higher and higher. And teams will soon require people who are hybrid pattern finders. So I came across this term in an article. And I think it's very very fascinating कि hybrid pattern finders कौन होते हैं? Usually आपका जिस subject में बहुत passion होता है आप उसी में patterns ढूंढ पाते हो. But a hybrid pattern finder is able to find patterns in multiple fields at the same time. I personally feel that if you had to just focus on 3 skills The first skill that you need to develop is your ability to spot and name patterns. Now, what do I mean by that? All of us have studied the laws of UX. But spotting which law of UX is being used in a specific flow is something that only comes after experience. And sometimes you can spot something that a designer has done, but you do not have a name for it. And if you do not have a name for it, it becomes very difficult to replicate it or explain to other people what you're talking about. So the future not only belongs to those who can find patterns, but also people who have the right vocabulary to describe those patterns. And unfortunately, very few people even read about how those patterns work. So websites like Built for Mars, Design, all of these cognitive biases का जितना भी theory होता है, I think it's high time that designers improve their vocabulary and their ability to spot patterns. Skill number 2, people need to develop how to have a clear line of thought in effective writing. Because in most of these tools, you'll probably have to write the prompt. And if you cannot sit and have a clear line of thought and prompt exactly what you want with the correct constraints, you will end up running in circles. Because as I keep saying, AI is not a smart replacement, it's like an intern who's slightly drunk. And when you're dealing with an intern who's slightly drunk, you have to be extremely explicit about what you want. So these tools are heavily dependent on your ability to exactly specify what you want in your products. But अगर आपको पता ही नहीं होगा कि इन सब चीजों को बोलते क्या है, it's almost like a colorblind person trying to explain कि ये colors बनाने हैं, because all colors will look the same. So you need to make sure that your ability to even name the patterns is at a peak. And then skill number 3, a healthy state of mind and body. Something that very few people are talking about. Imagine this. 5 years from now, you will have people that will know prompt engineering. They'll have great skills. They'll have the best machines because the cost of processing will go down. But suddenly, people will start falling sick. Literally, they will start falling sick. And after 8 to 9 years, ऐसा होने लग जाएगा that companies will start asking for your latest health reports along with your resume, just to make sure that they are investing in a person who's not about to fall sick. Because health itself is an asset which शायद अभी हम सब lightly ले रहे हैं, but with the kind of pollution and the nutrition levels that we are operating on, after 6 to 7 years, being healthy alone is going to be a very big asset for you. So please make sure that in this entire hustle, you are not losing your state of mind and your health, because that itself is going to be your biggest asset. I regularly work with designers and freelancers who have terrible sleeping patterns. They do not take care of themselves. They eat whatever they want to, and I see them getting tired very easily. मतलब जैसी दोपहर होती है, they don't have enough energy to execute anything. So if you're a very smart person, and if you have great ideas in life, but if you don't have the energy to work on them, it's completely useless. So, जब आप ये तीनों skills पे काम करोगे, you'll finally start to feel confident with AI tools. But एक mistake जो बहुत सारे designers कर बैठते हैं, they feel that they can use AI for their final draft, whereas in reality you need to use AI for your first draft, which means that you get a first layout, एक template आपको मिलता है, and then you take your own nuance, your own twist to it, and then you make sure that you fine tune it to match your specific requirements. कल रात को 11:30 बजे चैट जीपीटी ने एक नया फीचर लॉन्च करा है जिसको रीइंफोर्समेंट फाइन ट्यूनिंग बोलते हैं. द नेम इज वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, बट फंडा ये है दैट आज से 6 महीने पहले अगर आप कोई चैट जीपीटी मॉडल को अपने कंपनी के हिसाब से या अपने पर्सनल यूज केस के हिसाब से ट्रेन करना था, तो यू वुड रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ डेटा. टू ट्रेन अ मॉडल यू वुड एसेंशियली रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ डेटा. अगर बहुत सारा डेटा नहीं होता है, द मॉडल वुड स्टार्ट गिविंग शिटी आंसर्स. बट कल जो अनाउंसमेंट हुई है उसमें एक नया मॉडल लॉन्च हुआ है जिसका नाम है O1 मिनी. एंड O1 मिनी के अंदर अगर आप एक लिमिटेड डेटा सेट भी डालते हो, बहुत बहुत कम डेटा सेट भी डालते हो, as long as that data set is accurate, ChatGPT will start finding patterns very quickly. तो प्रोसेस ये होता है कि पहले आप उसको छोटा सा डेटा देते हो, वो पूरे डेटा में से पैटर्न्स बनाता है और फिर आप उसको सैंपल सेट देते हो. जब एक बच्चा ट्यूशन ज्वाइन करता है तो क्वेश्चन पेपर उसको दिए जाते हैं और एक आंसर की भी दी जाती है. फिर वो बच्चा क्वेश्चन पेपर सॉल्व करता है और अपने आंसर्स को आंसर की से मैच करता है और फिर उसको ग्रेडिंग होती है. चैट जीपीटी में अब यही होने वाला है. तो बिजनेसेस विल यूज O1 मिनी, उनको अपना लिमिटेड डेटा सेट देंगे चैट जीपीटी उसमें से जितने समझदारी से चीजें समझ पाए उतना बेटर है, और फिर आप उसको डमी क्वेश्चंस दोगे, डमी क्वेश्चंस के वो आपको आंसर देते हैं, देन यू हैव टू ग्रेड दैट चैट जीपीटी मॉडल. So you can grade it between 0 to 1. This is currently happening for documents, but very soon this will start happening for products as well. So imagine the day Figma integrates itself with something like O1 Mini. Of course, you will supply your design system, आप अपना target persona दोगे, आप अपने features दोगे, and then पहले shot में कुछ UI बनाएगा जो खराब ही होगा. Of course खराब होगा, because you will need millions of UI to actually train it for your nuance. But if you just have say 50 screens in your Figma library, you will start grading that ChatGPT model. And after grading it for 30-40 days, it will then learn very quickly. तो धीरे धीरे आपको ये समझना है that just like Apple, जैसे for example Apple Intelligence is not made by Apple, it is just ChatGPT with a wrapper. So ChatGPT is essentially going to become the fuel. And please make sure that as a designer you are up to date in the next 12 days की OpenAI क्या announce करने वाला है, because after this 12-day sprint, every other LLM company is just going to copy what they are doing. So Claude हो गया, Gemini हो गया, ये सारे लोग के जो रास्ता अभी सैम ऑल्टन बना रहा है. तो जो अगले 10 दिन में होने वाला है वो बाकी लोग एक साथ कॉपी करने वाले हैं. But if you're able to see these things beforehand, you will know that किसको over index करना है और किसको under estimate करना है. And we've been already training corporates and teams, so I know उनके fears क्या है. Majorly fear यही होता है कि नहीं ये हमारा context ही समझ पाएगा क्योंकि हमारे पास इतना data ही नहीं है, और अगर data ही नहीं है तो हम ये कैसे समझाएंगे. But trading will actually solve that very easily. So before we move to the Q&A, there are some QR codes that I want to share with everybody because these are dedicated playlists जो हमने individual categories के लिए बनाया है. Because आज तो मेरे पास बहुत कम time था, but if you are interested in going deeper to these subjects, they will help you. So this QR code right here will redirect you to our AI masterclass, जहाँ पे we are actually explaining कि एक अच्छा prompt कैसे लिखते हैं. तो prompt लिखने का एक checklist होता है, and that checklist will work in almost any LLM. उसके बाद we have a playlist for the Apple Vision Pro series जहाँ पे हम spatial design सिखा रहे हैं. I personally feel that in the next 5 years, because of Geo, because of Meta, the cost of AR VR headsets will go down. In fact, Apple Vision Pro जो हमारे पास अभी model 1 है, that has been discontinued, and they are working on an Apple Glass, very similar to what Ray-Ban did. But the principles of spatial design are going to remain the same. That is why Apple always called it spatial design and not like Vision Pro design, because they knew that the fundamentals will always remain the same. Then we have of course LearnUI/UX.in. अगर यहाँ पे कोई भी beginner level UX designer है who's working on his or her portfolios or your case studies, and if you are interested in knowing कि मुझे अपनी case study में क्या डालना है, then week 7 से लेके week 9 तक this will help you understand how you secure a good job. Then we have Notion. So this is a crash course on Notion, a tool that I regularly use. I regularly tell people about Notion because now that I've told you आपको क्या करना है, if you don't document your learnings in the next 1 year, you will just forget. And I am a big testament of the fact that I have been writing down everything I've been learning since 2018. Anything important in life अगर कुछ भी सीखा है, I've been writing it down, and thank God that Notion AI आ गया है, because now I can just search through my thoughts very easily. So documenting what you are learning in life is going to be a big superpower. Yeah, I think relevant है नहीं लोगों के लिए, but if any of you is an introvert and just wants to improve your personality skills, we also made a fun video on that as well. This was a series on UX design breakdown. A lot of people say that अंश आप UI पे तो बहुत videos बनाते हो, but UX पे नहीं बनाते. कि actually में better user experience कैसे होता है. We made those videos, but unfortunately the SEO sort of pulled them down. So if you're interested in how UX works in apps like Jio, Hotstar, and Disney Plus, and all of these apps, then this playlist will help you. Let me show you my email ID as well. काफी लोग मुझे यहाँ पे कह रहे थे कि हमें अपना पोर्टफोलियो भेजना है, हमारे को जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करना है. So this is my personal email ID. अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है और if you are looking for a job, then do send us your portfolio. And I'll tell you the roles that we are hiring for. Number one, we are hiring for good storyboarding artists. तो अगर आप YouTube content में बहुत ज़्यादा interested हो, and if you are a hybrid person who directly works on After Effects, Figma and Premiere Pro, then we have a very exciting job for you. दूसरा, if you're really good at copywriting for UX content, मतलब specifically अगर आपको UX based content में अगर writing में हमारे साथ काम करना है, then we're looking for people who can research with us and make incredibly high quality content. So how much time do we have? Out of 30 minutes, do we have 5 minutes? Awesome. On the left side, do you have any questions? Can you raise your hands? किसी को कोई भी question है in general? No questions so far? Awesome. On the right side, do you have any questions? Any doubts? Awesome. इसके बाद हमारा एक panel होने वाला है where it's going to be me and a bunch of other very interesting people. We have my mentor Sapta in the front row, and Sapta was telling everybody that you are the one who gave me my first job. And उस टाइम पे ना Sapta को पता था कि मैं content बनाऊंगा, ना मुझे पता था कि Sapta content बनाएंगे. So it's very funny how all the dots get connected. But thank you so much for being so patient and looking forward to the panel.